Oh, I can see all the replays now. We got a week leading up to the Super Bowl. We'll see nothing but beast mode. Marshawn Lynch not getting the football.
We got
2
2
weeks.
weeks.
Well, 2 weeks. That's right. But we got a week in between. But there'll be nothing but tapes of Marshawn Lynch not getting the ball at the 1 yard line. Russell Wilson throwing an interception. Pete Carroll looking confused. Tom Brady losing his mind on the sidelines. Here we go. It's Seahawks Patriots in the Super Bowl. Goodness gracious. I got to be honest. I don't think I had either of these teams making the Super Bowl this year when the season started.
Sam Darnold versus Drake Maye wasn't your Super Bowl matchup?
No, not at all. In fact, I would have been, if you'd have told me that, that the Patriots were in the AFC Championship game, that obviously after 4-13 seasons, that would have been surprising. But Mike Vrabel turned them around, did an unbelievable job. Drake Maye, of course. That game was not pretty to watch in terms of offensive football because the field conditions changed so dramatically. And, of course, not for nothing, but the Denver Broncos didn't have their starting quarterback, so there was that.
Yeah, the only thing that would have been crazier would have been Sam Darnold versus Jared Stidham in the Super Bowl.
Right, exactly. Hey, man, he did okay. I guess, you could say he lost the game because he threw an egregious interception.
I don't. Well, first of all, I don't know if it's egregious in that situation.
No, probably not.
The conditions, but also they substituted so late.
Yes,
the Broncos, that they basically, as soon as they were allowed to, had to snap it to beat the delay of game. I mean, he didn't have any time to survey anything, do anything because they substituted so late. Then the Patriots had a chance to sub, and they took their sweet time subbing as they should.
Yeah,
and so Peyton or whoever, the offensive coordinator, whoever called the sub package, screwed him up and didn't help him. Didn't put him in a situation to even have time to look at where he was going.
Right. No, it was that whole game, as soon as the snow started coming down, right before halftime or whatever, it changed in a hurry, man.
Oh. Well, and how about not taking points in the first half? You're up 7-0 with a backup quarterback and you don't take the points. You go for it on fourth down.
We've talked about it these entire playoffs. How many teams? The Chicago Bears, same thing. It's like, I'm all for the analytics. Really, that's fine. Maybe teams should have been going for it on fourth down more than they do. But in the postseason, points are at such a premium. I mean, you're playing the best teams that are remaining in the league, and you can't turn down any points, and especially early in the game. And also knowing the forecast. I mean, somebody had to tell Sean Payton that, hey, man, I don't know that it's going to be easy to kick or throw or catch once we get to halftime because it's going to get really sloppy weather-wise. So maybe you take the points there,
Well, and with the backup quarterback, go up 2 scores.
Yeah, go up 2 scores and have all the momentum in the world, Put the pressure on the other team. But, yeah, I saw that so many times in the playoffs this year. Chicago, same thing. Yeah, it's just – it comes back to haunt you when you don't take those points early.
Like, I'm not one that's always kick on fourth down. Like, I mean, it used to be too conservative.
Yeah,
but we've gotten way too aggressive now. Now, in the regular season, does it matter as much? And do you play the analytics of it?
Maybe,
okay.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, I'm going to take the points. Not every time. I mean, there are situations, but like backup quarterback, get every point you can get.
Especially early in games. It just feels like when, momentum, we talk about seasons have momentum, games have momentum. And if you can, like you said, if you could have gone up 2 scores, not that the game's over, it's still really early in the game, but it's still, it just gives you control, right? Even if they go down and score a touchdown. Then, of course, they had some big mistakes, obviously, that led to touchdowns. But, am I surprised that the Patriots won the game? No. Again, it was the weather was so bad that really neither team could execute very well. I think the difference was really Drake Maye and his legs. I mean, Drake Maye picked the right times to run the football. They had some aggressive play calling with some, RPOs and things like that in critical situations, especially towards the end of the game. And that really kind of became the difference because it was impossible almost to make a me to you throw. And, and then everybody was slipping and sliding all over the field. And, so, I mean, but the Patriots they did not lose a road game this year. Is that incredible to you?
The first team ever to go 9-0 on the road in the season.
It's insane. I mean, it really is insane.
Mm-hmm. For a first-year coach, a team that, like you said, went 4-13 for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Not like this is a really good team that then
Right.
For the last couple of years.
Got over the hump or something,
Yeah. I mean, what an incredible job Vrabel's done there.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly coach of the year material, and as are a lot of guys. But they got it done, and Drake Maye got it done somehow, some way, and now you're going to have two quarterbacks that should be an interesting Super Bowl, I suppose. I mean, I was kind of in my own mind, I was kind of pulling for Matthew Stafford, but I mean, Sam Darnold's story. Think about this, and my mind goes back to this game because it was the most incredible game that I watched the Bucs play all year. Is that they go out to Seattle with that crazy crowd, with the 12s, right? And it's a shootout between Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, similar to the way Darnold played tonight. That's how he played that day. And Baker Mayfield went toe-to-toe and up and down the field, and Darnold was going to have the ball last and probably go down and win the game. And then they got the tip pass, interception by Levante David, field goal over, right? To go 5-1, right? And you had Jackson Smith and Jigba, against Emeka Ibuka, two teammates just lighting it up all over the field. Darnold and Mayfield, who were teammates in Carolina, just trading body blows. I think at one point there were 6 possessions and 6 straight touchdowns. Like, it was insane, right? So you beat them as a team, and you go 5-1. You end up also going 6-2, and then Seattle goes on, and I think they lost maybe 1 or 2 more games the rest of the year, maybe 1 more. That's how good they were, And New England that the Bucs also played. That was the last great game that Baker Mayfield played. He threw for like almost 350 yards that day. And it was kind of back in, it was kind of a shootout again, and Drake Maye got the best of them and the Patriots. And that kind of was in the middle of that losing streak, where they wound up losing like 8 out of 9 or whatever it was to end the year. So, yeah, it's just, that's football is, you're never as good as you think, you're never as bad as you think, but at different times of the year, this goes to show that, you're never that far away, but not that close either. What Seattle was able to do in the postseason, and Darnold proved it to me and everybody else, I think, that, yeah, you're that guy. You're not the guy that's, going to melt down in the big game. He had his best game in the game he needed to play the best. And that was tremendous performance by him.
And, let's not sell him short. I mean, he went, 14-3 last year.
Yeah, he's only got to do it with 2 different teams.
And now he did it with the Seahawks. Like, everyone's, he's shown the last 2 years he's a really good quarterback.
It's outstanding.
Another one who didn't do well at the Jets, but amazingly can do it better elsewhere, which seems to be a pattern there. But
right. I mean, they're 16-3 right now, if you count the postseason, As this will be their 4th Super Bowl in their history. And then, of course, the New England Patriots, I mean, can't get enough of them.
Was their 11th?
It's their 11th one, yeah. I think I saw a stat where like Bob Kraft has been to 11 Super Bowls since Jerry Jones won his last one or something like that.
I think I saw it was 10 Super Bowls since the Dolphins last won a playoff game in their division.
God. That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, if you're a Bills fan. So for 20 years, Brady and the Patriots ruled that division.
Right.
You finally get the stud quarterback. And now you've won some AFC East, but you can't get over that hump. And now New England's back there before you can get there again or get there.
Yeah.
Like, that's rough.
It's brutal. It's just brutal. Anyway, let me address something because I I was answering the Frank Caliendo text about, is this what we want for these championship games? This kind of weather, these kind of neither team could really at least by halftime. Both teams had trouble just even completing a pass, right? Running the ball, making a tackle, that sort of thing. And I just thought it was a boring game. For 2 teams to play that long, and going back to July and you go through training camp and you get all the way to the championship game, and to not get to see those athletes and see those players be able to perform, I just thought the game was kind of boring. Now, I don't have a dog in the hunt, and frankly, I don't care. And I know all the people, the purists out there, that's football. It's the way it's been played for 100 years. The Ice Bowl in Green Bay, and all this stuff. And that's fine. I'm as nostalgic as the last guy, whatever. If that's what again, aesthetically, yeah, it's cool to turn on the TV and see guys sliding through the snow and, you can't find out where the yard marker is. And, we remember, epic games in the snow, like the tuck rule game and things like that. Adam Vinatieri kicking the field goal. Like, yeah,
you don't
that's
love the frozen tundra.
Yeah,
of
that's right.
Lambeau
The
Field.
frozen tundra and all that stuff. Cool, right? Have at it. I remember the old Met in Minnesota. I didn't go to it, but I can remember Carl Eller and guys like that with the steam coming out of their mouths, and it was as cold as it's ever been in any football game ever. But like, for two teams to have that kind of talent and to make it that far and not be able to display any of it because of the conditions, I just thought it was boring. I mean, is this the way? I think it's a fair question, and Frank Caliano, is this the way we want to decide championships? And what's interesting is 1 week later, okay, for the Super Bowl. Now, mind you, how important these games are for these four teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
But 1 week later, for all the marbles, okay, for the championship, for the Lombardi Trophy, what do? We say you're going to play where there's palm trees or a roof overhead.
Well, they played one in New York. They risked
one off shoot in New York, and they got very lucky. It was like 50 degrees, and let me tell you, I got snowed in for 3 days after that game.
Yep,
3 days. Okay, they got so lucky with that, and they're not going back there anytime soon. They went to Minneapolis, but again, it's a dome, right?
Yeah, it's a dome. That's okay.
So either a dome or palm trees. That seems to be the prerequisite for every Super Bowl that's been played. Okay, why?
Too much money on the line.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of money on the line for those teams to get to the Super Bowl.
But no, I'm saying I'm talking the Super Bowl's got to be the most watched, the most entertaining.
Right.
They're going to do everything they can
you want the best performance imaginable because it's your spectacle, right? It's the crowning game. It's the Super Bowl. So you want to control. I mean, hell, they bring in their own turf guy, right? What was it? A famous guy in Toma or whatever his name was that used to measure the grass and be in charge of laying down the sod for the Super Bowl site. Like, everything is manicured. Everything is perfect, right? Perfect field, perfect everything. Perfect weather, as much as they can control it.
Mm-hmm.
Climate, temperature, whatever. Because it's the Super Bowl. It's the biggest, the grandest event in American sports. But just one game earlier to get to that game, no one cares. Play in the snow, play in the rain, play underwater. We don't, it is what it is, man.
Well, I think they care, and I think changes are probably coming in the
So do I. So do I. I 100% expect that to happen. I expect it to look like college football. Did the Indiana fans complain that, they had to play in a different stadium to get to the Orange Bowl for the national championship? No.
Well,
they
but
showed
college
up.
football's never had that, so.
Well, I know, but I'm saying, but they managed to get there.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's inconvenient, and you think you're in home field, and it's just the NFL tradition is that, right? It's 105 years or whatever, 104 years of this is the way we've always done it and the way we always will. But I think there'll come a day, probably sooner than, first of all the stadiums, if you notice, the new generation of stadiums, they have some kind of climate control, even in the heat, right? The Miami Dolphins took their stadium, Hard Rock Stadium, and put such an array of awnings over the fans, at least, that they're out of that heat. Now the field, is partial shade, but it's pretty much exposed to the elements, right? But the fans, they have climate control. Minneapolis doesn't play at the Met, and they have a new big dome with lots of glass enclosures, so there's natural sunlight through it. But this new generation of stadiums either are retractable or something. Now, Buffalo built a monstrosity of a stadium up there next to their current ballpark, and pretty much the entire fandom is going to be covered in some way. But the field itself is still exposed to the elements because Buffalo is Buffalo, and they don't want to change, what they, I guess, perceive maybe as a home field advantage, playing in that snow and everything else. Okay, fine. But everywhere else, when they've changed stadiums, and I would say, let's see what they do if Soldier Field is built somewhere else, right? If the Bears move out of Soldier Field, the Colts play in a dome. I mean, there's so many teams that you have climate control during the regular season, And then there's the few that think it's their advantage, like Green Bay, right? That will never do it. But it's just something to think about. Like, are you getting the clearest picture of who is the best team? It's like, and then it's like, well, they all got to play in it. Yeah, they do, and they did, and it was boring. It was a slog, man. It wasn't much fun to watch at all. I was ready to take a golf nap, with especially with Jim Nance calling it. Hello, friends. So, but that's just one man's opinion. I mean, I wasn't trying to create a Twitter storm, which apparently I did, because I had people calling me pal after a while, right? But it was like, he's like, well, just turn it off if you don't want to watch it. I was like, no, that's not the point, man. It's like, I like football, and don't tell me what to watch. I can watch whatever I want to. Thank you. I got the remote. I paid for the TV. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't. I don't think it's a true test of those two teams and all that they went through to get to that game.
It's not.
And
so. But we've seen many playoff games like that before.
Absolutely. No, we have. Doesn't mean they were good either. But yeah, it's true. That's and maybe the worst thing you can say about anything sometimes is, well, that's the way it's always been done. Right? I mean, we said it about baseball, and I think baseball's improved.
Yes.
Now, those are rules, right? The pitch clock, or whatever, the bases, no shift, all that stuff.
If the NFL goes to a neutral site championship games.
Yeah, AFC, NFC championship.
It would be a shame the number one seed doesn't get home field. I mean, that's part of it too. It is a reward for the home team.
Absolutely.
You don't have to travel. It's your fans.
But you could get it all the way until the championship.
Yeah. Well, but at this point, the one seed plays one game before then.
Okay. So play the one game and go to the championship.
No, I'm not saying you can't change it. I'm just saying it's,
No, it's always been a reward for the fans, for your home fans.
The fans, for the owner, for financially, for...
Oh, well, that's another part of it. Sure. You'll have to figure that out, too.
No, but you can always...
You could play at a bigger stadium and get a bigger crowd and have a bigger game.
Give a big cut to the home teams. Or
no question. Yeah. No question. But whoever would have home field could reap the rewards financially. But I do think that one day in the not too distant future, you're going to see something like that, where there'll be more neutral sites for the championships.
As soon as it can make the NFL enough money,
there you go.
They'll do it.
That's it. The owners will sell their souls. They'll sell out their own home fans and make them get on a plane and go to Texas or something to watch their team play.
Texas, they'll go to London or something to play it.
Well, hey, that's coming too. I didn't bring that up, but this thing they call the Super Bowl, that's the biggest spectacle in American sports. One day that's going to be played across the pond. I totally believe that.
There's a timing issue with that.
Yeah, well, you got 6 hours difference. Yeah,
but could you do championship weekend there and start the game? You have a game starting at 3 Eastern. Well, that's more like 9 or 8 or 9 in London. Well, that works.
Sure. Or
the Super Bowl starts close to midnight in London time.
Right.
So you'd have to move up.
If you started it at 6, you'd have to move at the time.
I'm saying you'd have to, but for television ratings and everything else, they want it later on Sunday.
Yeah, it would suck.
But could you do championship weekend over there and start it at?
Sure, you could.
1 or 2, which is now prime time over there. Well, that works.
Yeah. Start the first one at 1, the second one at 4, and you're good to go.
Yeah. I mean, think something like that could happen in the future for sure.
Yeah. How about back-to-back games at Wembley? Saturday, Sunday, something like that. Who knows?
We're just trying anywhere in Europe, move it around,
or anywhere.
Whatever.
Yeah, Munich, you name it. Yeah. Berlin.
They're going to play in Spain coming up.
Sure. Brazil. Yeah, it could be all over the place. Anything that makes a dime, man, they're going to be all about it sooner or later. But yeah, it's funny to me, man. It's everybody's like, well, everybody, turn on something else, or everybody, they all have to play in the same conditions. I know they do. That's the point. Neither team could play that well. Like, one team's in Denver, they get plenty of snow in Denver during the year. Okay, maybe not so much, till the very end of the year, and certainly not this year. They didn't have hardly any until this game. But obviously, you get it in New England at times, and it would have been 12 inches if they played the game there. So both teams are used to it. But guess what? Even though they're used to it and they can practice in it and all that stuff, they couldn't execute because the conditions were just bad. And so if your athletes can't perform, if I'm just watching them play the way I would play, right, in the backyard, not being able to complete a ball, not being able to have any footing. That's not, to me, what the sport is about. It's about finding out who's the best, not who's the best in a snow globe. Now, again, I get it. You turn it on, you get the snow's falling. Ooh, it feels cold. It's like football. Cool. You know, that's fine. I mean, I've watched that my whole life. I get it. It's like, it's neat to turn on a game and say, wow, look at the snow, man. They're playing in the snow. Isn't that cool? Especially a guy from Florida who virtually only seen it twice. It snowed twice in my lifetime in Florida, and twice in Tampa, and both of them were very minute little flurries that look like dandruff on your collar. I mean, for the most part. So I love the snow. I go skiing just to see the snow out in Colorado and stuff like that. But this game was not able to be executed, by the guys that had played well all season. And it was just kind of, whoever can survive. And that also is competition, right? Like, you throw the elements at them, who can handle adversity. Like, that's all part of sport, part of life. I get it. I just would have liked to have seen the teams be able to play, and play their brand of football, as opposed to, just trying to survive it. But whatever. It's just me. So yeah, Super Bowl will be interesting. Like I said, a lot of Seahawks and Patriots memories. Tom Brady said he's going to be in San Francisco, his hometown, but the game is actually on NBC.
But he's there for the NFL has all their. They
of
want those
course.
big guys coming back.
Oh yeah,
he's got sponsor obligations and probably some Fox obligations and.
Oh sure he does. And Andrew Marchand wrote about. Now let me ask you this: you've listened to Brady last year. You listened to him this year. How much better do you think he is, year to year?
I think he's a lot better.
Yeah,
I don't think he's that good.
You don't still think he's good? Okay.
No,
See, I think he's really good. I think he's come I know he's come far, and he gets credit for that.
He's come a
but
long
I actually think, like, there are times, maybe he should do more of it, but there are times when he really brings insight from the quarterback position, from the defensive, being able to look and see the game, see what teams are doing, see what the play calls, which ones are working and why. I don't need the Tony Romo, let's predict what the next snap is going to be. But
I don't need a prediction. Look, the problem with watching football on television is you only see the ball.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't see anything else on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So when a receiver is 10 yards wide open, why? How?
Yeah.
Show me.
Yeah.
Troy Aikman's phenomenal at it.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk Herbstreit in college football is really good at it. Fox does none of it. Greg Olson's really good at it in Fox, actually. But Brady does not do. Coverage gets mixed up and, the pressure. And okay, that's generic stuff I can tell you. I'm not a football quarterback. I'm not the greatest of all time. Show me. Where did the defense screw up? Why did it screw up? What happened? Like, that's what I want to know. On TV, you see the quarterback drops back, the receiver catches it. There's no one in screen when he catches it. But you have no idea how. If you're at the game, you can kind of see it. If you're on TV, you can't. That's where I need an analyst. I don't need to know that the quarterback's feeling pressure or like he talks a lot of generic platitudes. He's not wrong in what he says, but he's not teaching me anything. He's not showing me what happened. I want to know why did that hole so big in the offensive line, or why did that defensive lineman get to the quarterback so quickly? Because the camera shot was focused on the quarterback, not the D line. Or where did the safety come on the blitz? And how, like, that's what an analyst should do. As soon as the play's over, it's got to be showing me what happened. That's what Aikman does really well. That's why he's the best. I think Greg Olson is really good. Collinsworth's good. Tom Brady doesn't show me anything after the play. He'll talk a little bit. He'll tell me a few things here and there. Like I said, he got a lot better. No question about it. But he's not showing me anything I can't figure out on my own. He'll tell me a few things, but he's not showing me anything. And that's where I think he fails.
Well, I was reading a story about him, and he said, the first year he went from sort of exactly what you're saying, which, let me tell you what I see. He prepared all these things, and, now it's more about, let me show you, how I did it as a quarterback, and as opposed to he's just preparing for, doing a broadcast. So I think I think the way he can see the game. I think Romo's good at this. Aikman, obviously. I think having played that position, you have the rare vantage point of being under center. So I think I'm seeing a little bit more of it. But yeah, I mean, he could give you a little bit more at times. I don't think I don't have the same opinion. I don't think he's just always cliche or
He's not
Captain
always,
Obvious.
but
I think he's starting to get more comfortable, going someplace else, but with it and what he sees and anticipates, or maybe why a play didn't work. But
let's go back a generation. What was John Madden doing? Well, you see this play right here, and boom, and boom, and boom.
Yeah, he's like, boom, here's a guy,
But as he was doing it on the telestrip, here's this guy, and here's this block that he made or missed, or this, or here's the you're sitting there watching, going, oh wow, okay, now I see what happened on that play. Brady gives you none of that. He'll tell you a little bit, but you never see it.
Yeah,
I think. Look, is he a lot better than last year? Yes. Will he get better next year? Yes. I just don't. He's built that way where he's not gonna take it. He's not gonna relax. He's gonna, put all in. But I don't think he's there. Like, he's not anywhere near Aikman or Olsen or Collinsworth. No, not even close. A lot better, yes. Not close.
Well, one thing he's brought is a little more excitement to his broadcast. He's not as wooden, so
absolutely, no question.
Delivery's better. He's watching the game, as a fan would, and as a broadcaster. But his interaction with Burkhardt, the timing. He used to not say things between plays because there wasn't a lot of time, so he didn't want to step on Kevin. So
he's 1,000% better there. No question about all that.
The mechanics of it, as having taught people like myself and others how to do broadcasting and radio and things, it's like it takes time, and in the case of those network broadcasts in football, you have so little time between plays and between what the play-by-play guy has to start saying, right?
Yep. The mechanics of it, he's 1,000% better. No question about it. Like,
chemistry with Burkhardt.
He doesn't get lost in the broadcast because he doesn't talk between a play. He's, all that stuff. Like, his timing of when to get in and out and that, he's doing that very well. No question. That part, the X's and O's of a broadcast, he's doing fine.
He says that he even now, he prepares too much. He needs to streamline less information. Like, he just dives into it during the week, and he has so much to say, that he can't all get it out.
The problem is, in that role, he's doing too much prep, and he's not reacting enough.
And he's got to react more.
He's trying to all this prep I did this week instead of reacting to what just happened.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I said, first of all, if I'm watching on TV, I can't see the whole field.
Right.
And while I think I'm a pretty good football fan and pretty knowledgeable compared to most, I'm nowhere. I didn't play the game. I'm nowhere near anybody on that field or whatever else close to their knowledge. Not even close. So when a play goes good or bad, I want to know why. What happened? What led to that? We've talked about on this podcast for years where, something goes back and you go, oh, the quarterback made a horrible throw on that play. Well, no, actually, 3 different things happened that receivers ran wrong routes, but the quarterback gets the blame because he's the one with the ball and threw it. Like, Brady, you're the best ever at reading defenses. You did it quicker and better than anyone ever. So if a receiver's wide open or the quarterback got sacked because he didn't see the blitz, show it to me. That's what I want to know. That's what he can tell me that he should be able to tell me that better than anybody else. Because he's the greatest of all time. And that's what he did for 24, whatever seasons it was he played. And that's where I just think like I said, mechanically, is he a lot better? Absolutely. Is he a more enjoyable listen? And that, sure. I just don't get enough of the why did something happen from him.
Right. Yeah. Well, he's not got the Super Bowl. And last year, in his first year, he had to call the freaking Super Bowl. So that'll be a break for everybody. Yep. And then, of course, it'll be Chris Collinsworth and Trico and those guys, Tony Dungy and all them.
Like I said, when John Madden did it, he's circling on the screen. Here's where this block happened. Here's where this boom. And he had the colorful boom, boom, boom. You don't have to do that, but
right.
But I always said when you watch John Madden, my mother, my grandmother, whoever could watch a game and learn something because John Madden made complicated schemes simple on the screen, and showed you what happened and why. And while you may not be the biggest football fan, you go, oh, okay, yeah, I get that. You weren't sitting there going, well, how did he get wide open? I have no idea.
Right.
And Brady or whoever's just, oh, it's a great throw. Okay, great. But show me how that worked out that way, because on television I don't get that view. I'm not seeing the whole field. I'm seeing the quarterback. I'm following the ball. That's what they do on TV, and they have to.
Right. Yeah. Well, anyway, it was an interesting championship weekend. Again, the first game kind of put me to sleep a little bit, but the second one was really, really good. And I just felt like, the Rams had a chance. I mean, they had a chance, even though they had mistakes. And God, Seattle had a ton of mistakes. They got a taunting call on fourth.
Oh, how about that? I mean,
fourth down. Oh my God. And that cost him a touchdown.
And then he got toasted the next play for the touchdown.
You got beat for the touchdown.
I love that the Rams went right at him the next play. I love that.
Puka Nacua, yeah, it was great. And I thought for all the world that it was going to come down to that final drive, and they went for it on fourth down. Stafford threw the ball in the end zone, got broken up, and that was pretty much all she wrote. They didn't get the ball back. So, well, they did get it back, but just with seconds left, it was too late at that point. Anyway, yeah, it was. Look, these were good championship games. I think it'll be certainly a competitive Super Bowl. Not the two teams necessarily, but like you said, if you had these quarterbacks in the Super Bowl, think about how long it's been since we didn't have a Brady or a Mahomes, right? Or I don't know, Peyton Manning, or go right through the list. It's been a minute, and now you got two guys that really had no business at the beginning of the year saying, yeah, they're going to make it to the Super Bowl, and we'll see them locking horns. So that part's refreshing. Two coaches that are absolute coaches of the year nominees and studs entirely. So it should be a good one. I'm looking forward to it. Super Bowl is like a national holiday. It was hard to believe that in 2 weeks, though, football season is over. Like I'm still trying to, and of course, it never really ends. I mean, we're in the hiring season right now, the crazy hiring season.
Well, speaking of that, we have news on the Bucs front.
Yeah, we do. We do. I'm going to tell you that right after this ad, because we want to tell everybody to go to Breitling Boutique International Plaza Mall. You've heard about the Breitling Boutique. The Breitling Company's been in business over 140 years, making the best Swiss watches you could hope for. And if you go in there, it's second floor. You're going to enjoy the customer service. They have tons of watches, men's watches, Navitimers, the chronomats that they're known for. Also watches for your wife, your girlfriend, ladies' watches. These are sports watches. Absolutely beautiful, incredibly durable if your wife or girlfriend's on the go like mine, and she can pick from all different colored wristbands. And as you're approaching the store, the first thing you're going to notice is this big display with the NFL shield, NFL. And inside they have NFL team watches, right? 32 teams, 32 different team watches. They're not all on display. There's about maybe 4 or 5 that I saw, including the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, these are all designed specifically for your favorite team while supplies last. The Buccaneers watch has the red face, of course, and the different logos inside. I mean, these are stunning watches. You have to go see Breitling Boutique International Plaza Mall. That's where you're going to find the best timepiece you've ever owned. And make sure when you go, you let them know that you heard about it on Sports Day Tampa Bay. All right, you mentioned there's a coach on the move from the Buccaneers, and one that I think they would have liked to have held on to, but nonetheless, he tried to go to Jacksonville last year, and that's now what's actually called their offensive line coach. Brian Picucci is going to go and join Liam Cohen in Jacksonville. Asked for him a year ago, and they were denied. This year, because it would have been a lateral move. This year, he's making him, I think, his run game coordinator, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So Kevin Carberry, of course, still coaches the Bucs offensive line. I don't think that's going to change necessarily under Zach Robinson, because those guys have worked before. But yeah, a pretty big loss, because those two offensive line coaches, I think, have been maybe the strength of their offensive staff for sure. And you're going to have some changes. Obviously, anytime a new coordinator comes in, he's going to need a quarterbacks coach. There's some guys that Robinson may bring with him. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. I wrote a story about Robinson over the weekend. It was really based on some interviews he did throughout the year, or late in the year in particular. Of course, he's a Sean McVay guy, and we see what Sean McVay guys can do around the league, and the way that tree has blossomed. The good news about him, as we talked about, is that he's called plays for 2 years. He certainly knows the NFC South and all of that. As far as his influence from Sean goes, he just says that he remembers just the culture and how to treat players. And he says that, there has to be urgency and enjoyment. And if you can match those two things together, you can really change and produce the culture. By the time he got to the Rams as an assistant, offensive assistant, they had been to a Super Bowl and lost. So it takes time to sort of build this, of course. But his time with the Rams, he said it was a real crash course in football. He's lucky to be around all those guys. Now on Tuesday, they're going to introduce him um, at One Buck Place as their really fifth offensive coordinator now in 5 seasons under Todd Bowles. And like I said, he makes so much sense because Coach Baker Mayfield in 2022, when he was out there for 5 weeks, the McVay influence where there'll be continuity with Mayfield, some of the Bucs offense, knows the NFC South, right? And I talked to Raheem Morris, who thinks that he said he's going to be the next one, right? The next big McVay type of disciple that makes it big. We'll see. We'll see how many years he has. We'll see how he's able to produce for Todd Bowles. If he does well, Todd Bowles will be back, and he'll probably be getting head coaching shots, or interviews. But if not, then it might be a shorter stay. We don't really know. But I've liked listening to his press conferences. It reminds me a lot of Liam in his sort of confidence and swag, and former quarterback at Oklahoma State, I believe, and in fact, he was in the Manning Passing Academy with Matthew Stafford, going way back, and said that coaching Stafford, there's just so much he's learned from him, just in general about the game. You see what a high level Stafford's playing at. So they'll need to hire a quarterbacks coach and some other coaches as well. But and we'll have a chance to really get into just what Robinson is all about. But as far as Raheem Morris goes, he said he's very high on him, and he's funny, man. He's like, I don't think he has any love loss about being fired by the Falcons, by the way, but he's just like, hey, man, those guys do well, and I'm like, yeah, now you do, because if you'd have not come back from a 14-point deficit with 9 minutes to go, they'd have been in the playoffs. But it was unfortunate for Raheem because everybody in the first 3 teams in the South all finished with the same lousy record, right? They were all 8-9, but because of round robin results and things like that, the Falcons missed the playoffs, and of course the Bucs were eliminated as well. And so nonetheless, despite winning their last 4 games, Raheem got fired, and and they have a new coach. So but yeah, looking forward to meeting him. Well, I'm sure we might talk to Mayfield down the line about him, but I think everything the Bucs have done, right, from keeping Todd Bowles to hiring Zach Robinson, I think so much of this is geared towards giving Baker Mayfield the best chance to win, and the Bucs, but Baker Mayfield the best coaching, a guy that he knows, somebody he likes, some familiarity with the offense. It's really geared around helping Baker achieve, and if he does, the team will do well, because this is his last year under contract. They paid him kind of the money up front for this coming year. We'll see, if they talk extension at some point. I don't think they will until the season is over or nearly over. But it's such an important year that I think that's why they didn't want to rip it up. Didn't want to rip up Todd Bowles, who's Baker's biggest supporter. Wanted to find the right offensive coordinator that Baker could mesh with. All of this is intentional, and so for all those that are disappointed that Bowles is still here and why, well, you have to consider the quarterback. If you like the quarterback, understand it's a coach quarterback league, and they're trying to get the best coaches that mesh with this quarterback in particular. And he's had a lot of offensive coordinators, like his 9th one, I think. But I think you got to count, Robinson as somebody he's at least familiar with. So we'll see how that goes, for sure. And meanwhile, I've been watching the Tampa Bay Lightning finally had their point streak broken on the road. It wasn't pretty. And you mentioned to me, Steve, that there's a little bit of illness going around the Lightning right now, a little bug.
Well, yeah. So they won Friday night in Chicago in a shootout, and then they lose at Columbus 8-5. Max Crozier, Jack Finley both missed that game due to illness. John Cooper afterwards said a bug's going around the team. I think that's why Gage Gonsalves left the game in the first period. I think he got too sick to play. So I'm guessing there's more guys on the team that aren't feeling great.
Yeah, probably.
Team did look slow and sluggish. It was a back-to-back. They've played, 10 of the last 12 on the road.
Wow.
So now they have a 6-game home. They don't play again on the road till the end of February because there's the Olympic break in the middle.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But 15 games in a row of points, 14-0-1, and that was 13 straight road games. They had points, 11-0-2.
Yeah,
tremendous streaks, but they're back home again tonight. No rest yet because they had Sunday off, but tonight Utah's in town. Good old friend Mikhail Sergachev in town. So
there you go. Yeah, that'll be fun. And I'm hoping to go to the Stadium Series. I may have to finance the tickets. I'm not exactly sure. They're getting up there.
Well, they're already making the ice there at Raymond James Stadium.
I saw that. That's bizarre and good for them. And fortunately, the weatherman is cooperating. It's not going to be warm. It's not going to be like it was this weekend where it was 81 degrees. My gosh.
No, it's going to be cold, but the biggest thing is you just hope there's no rain that night. So
that's right. Yeah.
But right now it looks like the rain got moved more to Saturday than Sunday, so that's a good sign. So
yeah, that would be great. Yeah, hopefully that holds, and we can all have a great. It should be a bizarre. What an atmosphere that will be to see that many people in Raymond James watching hockey. It'd be great.
Oh, one note for tonight's game too, just a personal note because I work with him every day, but. Dave Mishkin calling his 2000th Lightning game tonight.
Wow, 2000. That's tremendous.
Regular season and playoffs, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, we know how hard it is to get to that number, Steve, so, we do it every night.
This is episode 2159, by the way.
There you go. All right. Yeah. Have we caught Ripken yet? That's all I want to.
We're getting there. We got another year and a half on that, but
okay.
Maybe 2, depending.
All right. Well, we'll see if we can make that. Anyway, so that's kind of what we got. We'll see, there'll be some other coaches I think is going to be in and out of here. Some position coaches they have to hire. Obviously, we'll see who the Bucs bring with them with Zach Robinson and as well as players. I also wrote about that over the weekend in the Tampa Bay Times and on TampaBay.com. Some of the guys they may bring, there's Kyle Pitts is somebody that would be a free agent. Algiers running back. Like there's a number of players and coaches for that matter that we could be seeing from the Falcons. So check that out in the Tampa Bay Times and on TampaBay.com. Go see our friends at Breitling Boutique International Plaza Mall. Center of the mall. That's where you want to find the Breitling Boutique and beautiful watches, including the NFL 32 team watches. It's only while supplies last, so please get down there and take a look at these things. Absolutely gorgeous. Also watches for your wife or girlfriend. Breitling Boutique International Plaza. Make sure you let them know you heard about it on Sports Day Tampa Bay. Thanks for listening, everybody. Your Super Bowl matchup is set for Steve Versnick. I'm Rick Stroud, Tampa Bay Times. Have a great day.